And if sandwich doesn't have a sandwich, what would be sandwich's sandwich? That's what we're going to find out. What was in it? What were they eating back then? Was there ham in it? Was it beef? Was it cheese and pickle? Was it a BLT? What's your favourite sandwich? There's sandwiches all over the world, and I'm not sure that people really know that this is where they say they come from. So, we want to put sandwich back on the map, reconnect food between bread with this place in Kent. It's going to be fun. This is a huge sandwich.
Hi, I'm Ben Lippett. I'm a food writer and cook, and Hellmann's have set me a challenge. They've challenged me to try and recreate the first ever sandwich enjoyed by the Earl of Sandwich in 1762. It's time to put sandwich back on the map.
The first sandwich, I mean, it could be anything. I mean, it's pretty old. I mean, it's probably going to be something, and like, you know, Britain's not famed for great food, and I think we're going to be going way back. Probably some kind of like roast meat and some like dry old bread. Anyway, we're not going to make that. We're going to make something delicious. So I've come to Finsbury Park in London to meet Annie and David, two historians, both specialising in British history, food history, and they're going to tell me a little bit about where sandwiches come from and who might be behind them. We're meeting at Max's Sandwich Shop, which is perfect. It's the home of modern sandwiches in London. Hi guys.
Hey there.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for chatting with me about the history of sandwiches. So I've teamed up with Hellmann's to try and help put sandwich in Kent back on the map. We're trying to help sandwich reclaim the sandwich. So I need your help to figure out what that first sandwich might have tasted like. Where should we start? At the beginning?
The vast majority of people say there must have been a thing like a sandwich before it was called a sandwich. The standard lunch for rural workers, for factory workers, for pretty much anyone, was bread and cheese or bread and ham.
It would be very weird if no one thought about putting the filling between the two slices of bread before that.
But what we do know is that the word sandwich became attached to that idea in a particular context around a particular period. That's about as far as we can definitely go.
Yeah. So the connection between sandwich, the food, and sandwich, the place. I've never been. I've been to Kent, but I feel like I've never heard of it.
It's a tiny little town, and that's the contrast really. You have one of the most popular foods on earth named after this town that many people, particularly outside of Britain, just don't know it's there.
Sandwich needs a giant sandwich somewhere, and
Yeah,
it needs
does.
to be celebrated. But the fact that there is this association with something which is, I mean, it is as global as the burger. It is such an important foodstuff and has that name attached to it.
Has the Earl of Sandwich got anything to do with the first sandwich?
Well, he does. There's no question that we call this a sandwich because of the fourth Earl of Sandwich and his links to the town of Sandwich. Now, it's more about attaching his name to this food that probably must have existed for thousands of years. That story is a bit contested. I mean, the story we're given is that the Earl of Sandwich was one day gambling with his mates, and he was so into this gambling, and we presume there was loads of drinking, and he didn't want to leave the table and go and have some food, so he called his servant and says, "Bring me some meat in 2 slices of bread," and at that moment, the sandwich was born.
The sandwich is definitely named for the Earl. How it happened is a bit more dubious.
It's probably the case that what the Earl was doing was he was working, and the sandwich has become the ultimate work food. But this word is all over the world because of that man and a moment which may or may not have happened in the 1760s.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about what might have been in sandwiches around that time. What would you put your money on, being between those
the
slices of
description
bread?
is cold meat.
The description is cold meat and
Okay.
also originally toasted.
The question is, what was the meat? Because they're all very vague about what the filling is.
Yeah.
But this is Britain in the 1760s, and there's one meat.
There's
it's
one choice,
got to
isn't
be,
there?
yeah.
It has to be beef.
Okay, so sounds like I've got to do cold sliced roast beef.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and is it wood or charcoal?
It would be coal actually by
Coal,
that point,
okay.
or some people still did wood, but it's huge lumps of coal. So
Okay.
you could use charcoal if you wanted to make it a little bit more
Yeah, it might be a bit easier.
accessible for today.
Yeah. Hey, great. We're on this mission to create or replicate the first sandwich, or kind of interpret the first sandwich, but we need something else in there, I think. We need some kind of
Yeah.
things to bring this to life.
Well, Controversial as this might be, it wouldn't be controversial in the 18th century. I'm going to suggest that you pair it with plum pudding, as it was then known.
Interesting.
Okay.
Because beef, and it's not just beef that's a symbol of Britishness, or really it's Englishness. It's beef and plum pudding.
So plum pudding, to the uninitiated,
It's Christmas pudding.
Christmas pudding. Okay.
But it's even more complicated because not only is it today called Christmas pudding rather than plum pudding, they're not even plums.
It's
Yeah.
dried fruits,
Yeah.
spices.
Suet,
Okay.
boiled pudding, relatively solid, easily sliceable.
Yeah.
And it was eaten at the same time as the beef. It was on the
Okay.
table at the same time as the beef. Those two went together. So I
Wow.
think if you're going to pair anything with the beef, then it's got to be that.
It has to be, yeah.
And also, I would say, with a nod to the 1760s and this whole period of British history, if you don't include something which represents the British Empire growing and the way in which British foodways really spread across the globe and the exploitation within that, then you're not really doing justice to that period.
So you think I can use a few spices like on the outside of my beef?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this
Okay.
is a moment when the empire is taking off and foods and tastes and drink coming back to Britain. It is a hyper-global, kind of globalised international world, particularly London.
Trying to think about how I would interpret these ingredients today and build a sandwich that's balanced and has texture and is interesting to eat. And I think, for me, a good sandwich needs a good slice of cheese in there. And so something pickled, something fresh, and for me, beef, maybe something that's British, maybe some watercress. Does that work?
You could have watercress.
Yeah, watercress is very much around. They were often used as garnish. Garnish then was something quite integral to the dish.
Yeah.
So putting that in the sandwich is fine. You could easily go down that route. I don't think cheese would have been in that first sandwich, but cheese would have been in some first sandwiches.
If I'm using it, what kind of cheese should I be looking for?
Well, cheese in Kent. What do you think?
Well, there weren't really any because it's kind of a fruit growing area. The big cheese at the time was Cheshire, but cheddar was beginning to take over. So I think Kent would have been producing hard cheeses. I suspect the Earl would have been eating his imported cheddars, but if you could find something that was cheddar-y, Cheshire-y, quite sharp,
something quite
hard,
mature.
Yeah.
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 And then I think something we haven't spoken about, which we have to, is bread.
Yeah.
The thing that brings it all together.
It's got to be white. This is an Earl. You're looking at the best
Exactly.
flour, so you
Okay.
want the whitest bread possible. And sandwich loaves didn't yet exist, so the ones that are designed for slicing.
Yeah.
So most breads were made as a kind of.
There's a ball. Yeah. Okay.
But you
Okay,
could
cool.
easily run with that and make something that would slice. And bread like that would have been around, plentifully around within the Earl's kitchen, and used for a lot of different purposes.
So we're sat in a kind of modern sandwich shop, and we've got two beautiful sandwiches in front of us, both oozing mayonnaise. So how can I incorporate mayonnaise? When did mayonnaise hit sandwiches?
What do you reckon?
1815. That's
So a little
really-
later.
Yeah. Sandwiches need something to lubricate them, and the early sandwich probably would have had butter in it, or possibly gravy.
I mean, the fundamental physics of a sandwich is
Yeah.
it needs a binding agent. That could be butter, it could be mayonnaise. That was a problem from its emergence, whenever that was in the midst of time, to the present day. Mayonnaise, butter, whatever it does, it tastes great and it does the job of stopping it falling on your lap.
Sandwiches, mayonnaise, even Hellmann's mayonnaise are now so bound together that I think I've got to use it. This is about interpreting that first sandwich, but we can lean on some, mod cons, I think.
I think
Yeah.
you've got to interpret it, really, haven't
Exactly.
you?
Yeah.
Because you want to make the sandwich pop.
Guys, thank you so much. That was fascinating, and I feel like I've got plenty to chew on to get my teeth stuck into for this sandwich.
Wonderful, I can't wait to see what you come up with.
What an amazing chat. I've learned so much about the sandwich. Plenty to take away with me, plenty to think about. All delicious, some a little strange, especially plum pudding. And we want to put it back on the map. We want to tell people about it. We want to make that link between sandwich and sandwich. Bread as big as your head. We're back in my kitchen and it's time to test our sandwich. I've gathered some ingredients that David and Annie spoke about. I've formulated a plan in my head and we're going to see how it goes. I've got the most amazing bone-in sirloin roast for my roast beef. This is like a classic celebratory cut for roasting, especially in kind of old England. It was literally named after a knight, I think, sirloin, isn't it? Or like knight the cut, something like that. And where's Annie and David when you need them? Anyway, so Annie and David gave me loads of ideas And I've kind of distilled it down into what I think will be a very delicious sandwich, and we are now going to test it. So, first things first, we need to roast this beef. Now, Annie and David wanted me to do it over charcoal, but what I'm gonna do, this is a modern interpretation, so we're gonna do something called a reverse sear, which is kind of like a foolproof way of getting really, really beautiful beef. Start it in a really low oven, and then right at the last minute, we're gonna sear it on a ripping hot grill, barbecue, charcoal grill, to get that charcoal flavor, but a really nice even cook. This fat cap is like the perfect amount, but if I flip it around, you see it gets much thicker. So I'm just gonna trim some of this off. I've just evened that up, so you can see now that it's about the same there as it is there. So what I need to do now is get a shed load of salt onto this. So I'm just gonna use fine sea salt. I've got my oven preheating to 120 degrees Celsius, which is really low. And I'm sure some of you have come across reverse searing before, but if you haven't, the idea is, it's called a reverse sear because you apply the really intense heat at the other end of the cooking process. Usually, when you're cooking a steak that's maybe this thin, you sear it at the beginning. But if you do that with a piece of beef like this, what you get is a kind of, from about here to here, and all around the edges, it's gonna be kind of gray and overcooked by the time the middle's done. So what we do, season this, get it into a low oven until the whole thing comes up really, really gently to a nice kind of 42, 44 degrees. Rest it, sear it, slice it. Foolproof. But where this is gonna differ slightly, we're gonna make a nice little spice blend. So what we've got some cumin seeds, coriander, and then about half as many peppercorns. And I'm just gonna get some heat under them and bring them to life and toast them up. Annie told me that there was curry powder, so we are gonna add a little bit of this to our blend as well. But if I add this to the pan now, it'll burn while the other spices toast. And then they're gonna go into a pestle and mortar. Yeah, you could stick it in a coffee grinder or a spice grinder. I mean, if you don't have a pestle and mortar, what the hell are you doing, really? They're so cheap and they're so useful. I mean, you can see the pan is starting to smoke, but these don't smell burnt, they smell vibrant and alive. So nice. And I've got quite a lot, but I think I'm probably gonna get through all of this. So straight into here. Ooh. This is my favorite bit. And then you just want to take your pestle. Is this the pestle or the mortar? This is the pestle. And then just start coarsely grinding these. Oh my God, it smells insane. Pepper has the most amazing kind of fruity heat, which is under-celebrated sometimes. But in this, that's exactly what I want. This is gonna be spicy, but without any chili. Okay, some curry powder. And I wanna go, total volume of kind of whole spices, I wanna go about half the curry powder. See that? There's kind of like flaky chunks, but it's sprinkleable. Sprinkleable? Yeah, we'll roll with that. So this is just a kind of classic, bog standard, medium curry powder. Nothing fancy. Big old spoon going in. And now I have, this is my little spice blend marinade for my beef. Oh yeah. Right, this is where we're gonna start to use Hellmann's to help us cook. We do a really light coating of mayonnaise on the beef. You don't wanna do loads, just enough to adhere that spice blend. So just take a spoon, you don't need a brush or anything, just cover the beef. So this piece of beef's got the bone in it, because I like roasting meat on the bone. You get a really nice flavor, get a bit of protection on the meat as well. Now a liberal coating of the spices all over. Beef, seasoned, mayoed and spiced. It's gonna go into a low oven until the internal temperature hits about 42, 43 for a nice rare. We want a rare roast beef. Okay, I think it's gonna take about 1 hour. Diverting slightly from David and Annie's advice here. However, we do want to, this is an interpretation of the first sandwich, and I like, in my sandwiches, something acidic, crunchy, and savory. So, what we're gonna do Let's take an onion and we're gonna pickle it using a really lovely British ale. We're gonna do a beer pickled onion, some bay leaves, some more peppercorns, some sugar, and some vinegar. It's gonna be delightful. Quite thin, but still retaining like a little bit of texture. If it's like wafer thin, then it just kind of melts into the sandwich. We want a bit of crunch. We've reduced a little bit, alcohol's gone, so you just have that hoppy, rich, toasty, malty flavor, which is really nice in this recipe. Onions going in. And once you let these cool down and chill them, you get this. You almost get these kind of amazing pickled onion rings, which are sweet, but savory and malty and beery. They take on the bay in the most amazing way. I've still got the bay leaf in here, see? It's in here somewhere. Magical ingredient. So underrated. These are amazing, and they just set the beef off in the most amazing way. I mean, they set anything off, really. Someone make crisps that are beer and pickled onion flavour, I reckon. So, here is our wild card David and Annie ingredient. This is a Christmas pudding or a plum pudding. I didn't know what they were talking about for a good 5 minutes while they're talking about it. This is a Christmas pudding to the likes of you and I. So, fruit, booze, often suet. It's essentially, I mean, it kind of has all the hallmarks of like a really good condiment, whilst being sweet. I have a feeling it's going to work really well. Let's see if it will come out. Yeah, we're in. God, they are good, aren't they? I've steamed this. I'm going to let it cool down, and we're going to slice it. So what I'm going to pair it with is this really nice. This is a mature kind of cheddar-style cheese from Sussex, which is very, very near Kent. Salty. It's funky. Has that kind of crunchy, crystalline texture inside where it's been aged. And I think it's going to work really, really, really well with this fruity, sweet kind of cake. Nice. 1, 2, 3. Right, the beef is done. Right, look at this. Smells unreal. So, what we've got is a bone-in sirloin now. The inside is cooked really nicely. It is sitting at about 40 degrees. We're gonna let this rest for 10 minutes or so. We've lit the barbecue, and then I'm gonna go and give it a really, really, really good sear on the outside. I'm almost looking to kind of char the spices in the outside. We're gonna rest it, take it off the bone and slice it. Right, time to grill the beef. We basically got the cook that we want on the inside, but now we want to get some flavour on the outside. And Annie and David said charcoal is what we want. Charcoal's good flavour. Yum, oh my God. I want to start to render it. I would have rendered in the oven. We'll always grill the fat side first, just to get it moving. That's the bit you want to put the most heat into. You want to get it nice and crispy. So you just want to keep moving it around basically until you get a nice colour all the way along. You don't want this to be on over too long, but you can see that we're getting some nice colour, especially on the top there. Yum. Nice. Pop that up there, let it hang out. Just a little bit. Mayonnaise is such a good medium with which to kind of sear things. You get the most amazing crust. And also, you can see exactly how much you're putting on and it sticks to your product, which is nice. So, hot pan. I'm just doing this on the grill, just because I've got it lit. Nice Sussex cheese. Right, I'm just gonna pop a little lid on. Right, beef is ready to be sliced. So, because we've bought some posh beef, this is on the bone. So I need to take it off the bone to begin with. Wow. So that is off the bone. Gosh. Delightful. See that? Nice and pink. Let's get into it. Again, it's very, very crispy, listen. Which is nice. Long, slow cook in the oven, rendered the fat, and then we crisp that guy up. Pretty nice. The fat is so crispy and it's rendered all the way through, which is just what you want. So starting with our lightly toasted bread, a good layer of Hellmann's real mayonnaise. Next, mayo seared plum pudding with that melted Sussex cheese. Our rare sliced charcoal roast beef. Beer pickled onions. Watercress dressed with horseradish and a bit of the beer pickling liquid. More Hellmann's real mayonnaise and another slice of toasted bread. Oh my God. This is my interpretation of the first ever sandwich. We took our notes from Annie and David, and this is what we spat out. I'm really pleased with it, and I think it genuinely is going to be very delicious. I can see, if you see here, that plum pudding's almost turned into like a chutney at the bottom. You know what? I think they might be onto something. Anyway, let's give it a go. This is a huge sandwich. Oh, this isn't going to be pretty. Okay. Mate. I'll tell you what. That plum pudding is delicious. The spices really coming through, really delicious. Beef's kind of perfect, although it's not the first time I've done that. Really, really love that. Reverse sear method is class. Get the charcoal, get the spices. The plum pudding is kind of a revelation. That's kind of genius. So we're using those kind of flavor notes, the historical context and modern technique to make this a seriously, seriously good sandwich. I reckon we've done it. The mayonnaise helps wrap everything up, bring it all together. Nice peppery watercress, little zing of beer pickled onion. This is a good sandwich. We're gonna run with this. We're gonna take it to sandwich itself. Thanks so much for meeting me, the Mayor of Sandwich, Emmett. I'm kind of looking for some info about what the sandwich means to sandwich today. I mean, how much is it kind of in the culture here?
Yeah, it's there. It's built into our fabric.
The fabric of the town.
It is.
What sandwich without sandwiches?
Exactly. And it's great to have the first sandwich back in Sandwich.
Well, I hope I can do it justice.
Fantastic.
Let's see.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Good people of Sandwich, from BLTs to tuna melts, the sandwich has taken many shapes across the world, but the original recipe has become lost to time until today. Today we celebrate the return of the first sandwich, only available here in Sandwich, the cutting of a first sandwich.
We are in the kitchen at the Crispin Inn with
Megan!
Chef Megan, and we're going to run through the sandwich, get it on the menu, feed some people. That, oh, why not? Get rid of that. Perfect. Okay, Megan, can you put some slices of cheese on top of there for me? Cool. Chef Megan, I believe, roasted this beef beautifully. Look at that.
There's loads of flavours going on all at once. A little flavour explosion. One of them. But, oh man, it's been a great day. It's my first time in Sandwich. And coming to a sandwich-based event in Sandwich is everything I thought it would be.
Yes, very nice. It was beautifully well composed. I can see why he put that lot together. It was recommended.
The secret ingredient.
I can taste the mayonnaise, which I expect I'm supposed to.
Exactly, you got to get it to every corner. You see?
Just having Christmas pudding sandwiches. That's what we're going to be doing. I think a lot of people would want to try this, yeah.
Let's go. More, bit more salt. This is very beautiful salad. Here we go. Whoop. Service. The colours are good, eh? And you got everything in there. Christmas pudding, watercress, onions, cheese, Hellmann's. Delightful. I mean, that does look good, doesn't it? I must say. So we've done it, we've made it. The sandwich of 1762 with Hellmann's, roast beef, Christmas pudding, melted cheese, all that good stuff. I reckon this is going to put Sandwich back on the map. Come visit, go try it. It's delicious. Bye!